You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/day to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/day for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
J360 Radio. Hello, J360 Legion, and welcome to the J360 MiniBytes here on J360 Radio, hosted by J.M. Brady. I am your host, J.M. Brady. Let's get into it. Hey, how's it going, J360 Legion? What is up? It's time for another week of J360 Productions content, and here we are on J360 Radio with the MiniBytes 249. I am your host, J-Man, of course. It feels so good to be here, y'all. I mean, right now it's all about trying, because J360 Radio is okay, and a lot of the adjustments are happening. You know, we moved them over and everything, and they're going over there to Kofi like they're supposed to. And in case you didn't hear me after that little motorcycle thing, everything is being moved, and I think they're ready to go again here on Kofi, as far as J360 Radio is concerned. Now, that being said, how about J360 TV, if you will? J360 TV is still being adjusted. It's being rewired to go to certain different avenues. Right now, the fourth show, which is actually the Power Play series, is being reconfigured right now, so that's already being well taken care of. And I'm sure, like, if those of you have been paying attention to J360 TV on YouTube, which is our YouTube channel anyway, you have noticed that the Power Play series have been sitting there. After a while, they won't be there anymore. Matter of fact, they are going to a whole other area. So that way, because I wanted one section to focus on like a lot of the mainline stuff. This going over here is actually going to be, you know, it's going to work out really good. If you like video gameplay and if you like, you know, conversation about video games and all that stuff, it'll be there available for you and all. I've kind of had to really sit down and think about the direction of that series a lot. And I was like, well, you know, I have a lot to accomplish with that, so I need to continue that on, but it has to continue on to its own, its own freeway, if you think about it, or bypass, if you will. So, it'll have its sector already, and when that's going to be set up and ready to go, I will let you all know that. And, of course, since that is a premiere, and it's all about everything for J360 Legion as a whole, it won't be behind it won't be behind a membership thing. That is a everybody pays attention to it scenario. And speaking of which, about the Kofi right quick, I'm sure some of you have gotten my message about regarding, like, you know, separating the posts for, you know, the exclusive for the J360 Legion Hall members, and then, of course, the other for those in the public and everything. You know what I mean? So when you go ahead and you pay your $5 a month, you know what I mean? You get access to everything. You get to see all of it, and you get to watch me rebuild the shows, watch me do a lot of different things, such as like keep J360 Productions afloat, in addition to like keeping an eye on certain shows that'll have experimental pilots and all, so you can check them out and everything. Whereas for those of you that are, one-off supporting or, taking the public freeway about things, you will still get the same mainline content. It's just without the bells and whistles on that. And keep in mind this, all support is important, not just monetary value. And it's always, $5 to start with. With donations, you can go up to at least 20, but it's entirely up to you on how you want to support and keep J360 Productions afloat. Either way, everybody's going to win, because the way I got it all straightened out and everything, you guys will not be able to miss a beat. But the number one thing that you should be aware of is the Ko-fi.com/J360 Productions page. That is for all the news, for all the content, for everything J360 Productions related. That is your best bet right there. Yeah, because I got tired of meta so bad, man. I mean, like, trying to put together this content would be great if the platforms would actually help you. But since the platforms are not doing as much as they ought to, not without monetary value and stuff. So it's like this. If you paid me, I would have to go ahead and pay Zuckerberg a bigger check for not only the audience I do have, but also to reach the potential audience that I know that J360 Productions could do. So while I'm doing all that kind of stuff, I'm gutting the middleman out. I'm building my own the way I need to. And that's what this is all about, The whole thing about this upgrade saga is making sure to get rid of what doesn't work, but to work with what does, and also make things more efficient and effective for all of you out there who love this content, I love making it, and I know that those of you that are fans love being there for it, and I know those of you out there that, contribute, you love contributing to it. So why does everything have to be more complicated than it needs to be? Well, guess what? It doesn't. Especially when you find out the factors involved and you get rid of certain things you don't need anymore. That being said, though, am I going to keep the meta pages and all? They're going to work as satellites. They're going to work like they're supposed to work. They're not going to work as like my main line. If anybody wants to talk to me, there are many ways you can. There's the J360 hotline, which is 240-930-1634. And then, of course, you also have the J360 Jams, Gmail. You also have the J360 Productions at Outlook.com. Especially if it's not music related, because I made the Jams one for all music related stuff, because for a while there, that was becoming a cluster too. So these things were made for easier, more efficient communication, and that is really what you want, especially when you're running a media production company. So it's really important to do this kind of things, and I want to be able to speak with you all on the level, you know what I'm saying? And all news, important news, such as like when Trump did what he did in Washington, D.C. these past now a couple of days, it's just like, that's news that you need to know, and I am not afraid to tell you what you need to know. And the thing about it is like, I don't agree with none of that BS at all. I want to remind you all about that. And speaking of people I used to associate with, they're all about that, they can go suck a big one. I am never hanging out or dealing with those kind of individuals again. I've had enough of it. All this stuff going on is just ridiculous. But that being said, though, I still have a mission to uphold here as far as J360 Productions goes, and I'm going to be working on some new plans. I'm going to be working on some of the stuff that I've kind of had my eye on for a long time ago, like way back when, and it needs to go ahead and have a spotlight now. So it's all about building the future of J360 Productions, in addition to fighting racism and all sorts of other things I'm doing for myself. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I have not felt better since I severed ties with a lot of people that are not worth my time. And some of them, I think some of them talked to me not too long ago. One of them did, and said, "How come you don't talk to me anymore?" I said, "Because you all about being with your fastest leader, so F off, man." You know what I'm saying? You think all that stuff was a good thing? You go ahead and be about it. I'm not about that life. I'm going to go ahead and push my values first. I'm going to go ahead and do the things that need to be done for me. And, I always think about this, because I'm never going to lose hope. I'm always going to fight for what America could be. And America, with the way things are going, could be a hell of a lot better than this. So, and with that being said, I really do stop at racism, and I stop at all sorts of ridiculousness that, once again, you all done showed off for the last, let's say, how long have we been in this decade? Exactly, about 5 years in this decade, and then about like well over 10 years in the last decade. So, you know, at the end of the day, well over 15 years of that nonsense, I about had enough of both sides in this argument. It's time for an adult to take center stage and get everything functional again. Because right now, all the dysfunction is really coming to a head, and it smells like shit. Alright, that being said, though, let me get back to what else is about the MiniBytes. Now, speaking of which, we got Jams 119 coming up this Friday. I am working on the latest JamsTV 13. Now, if you guys want to go ahead and be a part of that, I have one video already. I'm going to need at least 9 more by next Thursday so that I can go ahead and put it together. I'm going to try to have JamsTV and Jams, you know, traditional Jams' deadlines on the same day from now on. We're going to keep it simplified. Thursday is usually a pretty good day. It's just like this. With JamsTV, it premieres on Saturday, whereas Jams premieres on Friday. So when I mention Saturday Affair, that means that a J360 JamsTV episode is happening. And I love doing that series, guys. I know I haven't been really requesting for it, but we were in the middle of a move, you know? So that's the whole thing about that. But we're going to keep on growing for these things. Oh, and speaking of crazy stuff that's been going down, I noticed this. Some of y'all have caught on that I am not on Spotify anymore. Nope, no J360 radio shows are on Spotify, and they will never be on Spotify ever again because of all of the things that have went on Spotify or is still going on. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention like anything. I left. I don't give a damn about any of that stuff anymore. I give a damn about people, and I give a damn about, you know, artists that make their music. I don't care for like AI prompts. I don't care for the way that guy was pushing AI, in addition to like having all of my artist friends having existential crises and all that kind of stuff. And then they're not getting paid. And then you see at the end of the year about the Spotify Wrapped and all that nonsense. And then this guy is also taking the money to try to headline AI military development. What the living hell is going on, man? These rich people done really lost their minds. But hey, guess what? They show more and more of their true colors nowadays. So the whole thing's a front and a joke. But I want to let you know this, though. That story for the J-Man show on that one. Let's get your schedule together. Okay, so you got the MiniBytes happening right now at 8, which, of course, it happened. And then you have the, you have the J-Man show happening tomorrow at 8. And then you have a secret stream from me because the streaming is just about set up, and I'm going to be running with a little bit of a prototype stream to get things going because I want to see what happens. So you'll be able to catch that on twitch.tv/J360TV, and then you'll be able to catch that on youtube.com/J360 Productions, at least for this one. And then those of you that are on the Ko-fi, I'm still working with the Ko-fi on the way of our streaming, so you can use that to pay attention as well. So I'm just letting you all know that, which is why like when you see like the on-air postings and all, that is definitely your link to come here to Mixler, because you can sit in the chat room and talk with me live if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. And among other things, you know, we're working on newer ways to have a lot more interconnectivity and interactivity for all of us to really communicate and have a good time. All right? And I know there are things I'm going to talk about that you may not agree with, but, you know, we're all adults here, and you should be able to handle it. I mean, I've been doing it for the last, 9 years or so? I mean, as far as you know, the J-Man show is about to hit 10 seasons and stuff, so I got to do what I got to do, man. So, I'm not upset about it. I'm going to keep it going like I normally been. Speaking of which, about J360 Jams, for instance, a lot of you out there, I know that I'm dialing it back as far as social media talk and stuff, and that's why those automated messages are popping up and letting you know that. Really, if you want to be a part of the show and everything, don't be scared to email me. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to me about these things. There's always other ways to do it. And then not to mention, for those of you out there, because Meta is actively trying to block me from reaching you, I will be reaching you out in other ways, okay? Because I really want to see the Jams project grow. I want to see the Power Play project do what they got to do. I want to see, there is another series in the works that'll be coming soon. And I want to see a lot more, you know what I mean? So that's usually the goal. And we'll get to it. We'll get to it day by day, you know what I'm saying? And you keep hearing your updates here on the MiniBytes, because the MiniBytes is more or less your breaking news and all sorts of other things. And there was also another feature I had where, you know, I would communicate with you guys about different things in case there wasn't a J-Man show around. So I'm bringing that back too. Either way, stay attentive, stay safe, please. And also pay attention to the Ko-fi page on how things go down. All right? Well, other than that, though, I got to get on out of here. This is J-Man signing off. And take it easy, all right? Peace.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/day to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/day for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.